Somebody posed an interesting question. I was watching a video, and it was people that hold on, people that went to, like, 4-year colleges versus people that went to community colleges. And I went to a community college. I studied journalism. I had a 3.64, I think, and that's only because I sucked at math. I remember telling my algebra professor, for just it was just general algebra. That's the only class I had to pass to get my what is it, associate's degree? Yeah, associates in journalism. It's the only math class I had to pass. It was just for general knowledge, and you have to take that class. And I sucked at math, and I remember telling her, like, I got a journalism major. I'm here to write letters, not add them. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I got extra points for because she wanted to help me out because she understood. She was, I can't remember her name because it was over 10 years ago. But she was a kind professor. I don't remember any of my professors' names actually, but she was a kind professor, and like I started taking tutoring classes with it, like in her classroom at night with some of my classmates to help me out, and I got extra points for that, and I got extra points for improving my grade every test. So that's why I ended up with a 3.64, because she could have. I seriously, I was like a C student that was somehow getting B pluses and A's, A minuses. I was somehow that lucky to be getting B pluses and A minuses. And I think that's just because she, not only did she encourage me, but my other classmates were working with me to improve something I just didn't give a fucking rat's ass about. But I told that story to get to this point. They were talking to community college students versus 4-year college students, university, state college students that have a different experience. And a question came up that said, it's not who you know, it's what you know. And I disagree with that. It's who you know. And the reason I disagree with that is because I don't I didn't go to Yale. I'm not one of those 4-year students. I'm not rich. I'm never going to be rich unless I win the lottery. But all of my best jobs I got through a friend or a family member, or by becoming friends with my boss. All of my best paying jobs. The jobs I hated were the ones I got on my own. Well, not hated. There's one job I got on my own that I really liked, and that was McFadden's in Kansas City, because I loved the people. But then again, I became friends with all the people I worked with, and that helped me out because I worked for tips. So that helped me out. So I may have not gotten promoted. Well, kind of did. I became a chef. Uh, I went from being. Kind of did. No, I definitely got promoted. I went from being a expediter working for tips to the point where I went to pantry chef, then or pantry assistant, then to line cook, then to pantry chef, then to leading the line as the sous chef for the restaurant in McFadden's, until towards the end of me being there, because they brought in a guy from like the main company, and he started running the line. But yeah, I enjoyed that job because of my friends, but didn't pay great, and I really didn't. I got promoted and demoted, and it was yeah. And then there was the job I got. I moved to Norfolk, and the first job I got was relocating a Dollar General, like from one store to 3 blocks away to where it was beachfront property. And I worked my ass off because they said that the people that worked the hardest, they would get rehired to work the store on the beach. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, I could go sit on the beach before work, during my lunch, and then after work and just rest and then play in the ocean. Fuck yeah. Nah, I didn't get that job. As soon as the store was moved, they were like, thank you for all your help, Brian. Thank you for doing the heavy lifting. We hired all the girls. No disrespect to those girls that got the job. I get it. They're cute. I get it. They were cute anyway. I don't know what they look like anymore. And then, if you're coming off the beach, who do you want to see? Pretty girls. You're going to buy more stuff. I get it. There's a psychology to it. And then the next job I got in Norfolk was at Buffalo Wild Wings as an expediter. I hated that job. Two people quit because the way, like, they make you try to work hella fast, faster than is safe. And two people quit because while walking down the cooking line, they got hit with fresh out of the fryer frying baskets with wings in it, and ended up with like burns all over their arms and stuff. And they quit immediately at that point. And the restaurant was like, well, since you quit, we're not paying for anything. The bill's all on you. Like, even though they've got it on camera because they film everything back there. Their hamburgers and their ribs and everything came in individually packed plastic fucking pieces that were frozen and thrown on the grill to cook. And you're paying like 12 fucking bucks for that. Your wings, oh, they came in fresh every day because, it's Buffalo Wild Wings. You got to have fresh wings. But if they fell out of the basket and landed on the floor, you just be thrown in the basket again, recooked, and put in somebody else's bucket. If wings came back because they were the wrong fucking flavor, they'd just be thrown back into the bucket, put into the fryer, taken out, and then retossed in the new flavor. Like, so you're getting double cooked wings. I hated working there. It was disrespectful to the point where, like, I was like, I'm not working behind the line anymore. I'll expedite. I need to find a new job. And I expedited for a while, and finally, like, I quit. I was just like, I'm fucking done. Can't do this anymore. And that's because I got a phone call from, because my sister worked for Five Guys, and I got a phone call saying that a Five Guys downtown near where I already worked uh, was looking for a new employee, and they were offering to pay me more, starting an entire dollar more, starting than I was getting at Buffalo Wild Wings. And I was in I was part of the original crew for that Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, I got hired in the basement or in the lobby of a hotel because that Buffalo Wild Wings didn't exist yet. And this Five Guys was like, yeah, we'll pay you a dollar more to start. I was like, and I think I worked both jobs for 2 weeks. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going back to Buffalo Wild Wings anymore. And just stopped because I was making a dollar more at Five Guys and working. 8-hour shifts instead of 4-hour shifts and making $1 less at Buffalo Wild Wings. It just wasn't worth it to do both jobs in one night after 2 weeks. I was just like, I'm too tired. Fuck that. And then I made friends with my boss. And then my boss got promoted to regional manager. And the new boss came in and I made friends with her. And then, like, I made friends with my entire crew. And when it came to needing an assistant manager, I was the first one just because I was good with the customers. Like, I'm a drama kid. I was good with the customers, so I was always able to play with them and make them laugh and have a good time with them. And I did the same thing with my coworkers, and I lifted everybody up. And when everybody was down and arguing, I would always be the one that said just something really outrageously stupid that just made them go, "Fucking Ryan, shut the fuck up," you know, and laugh. And like, I made so many friends, and I still appreciate, like, I don't want to name their names, but I appreciate those people. You know who you are. You're my East Coast family, even though some of you don't even live in the East Coast anymore. But y'all went to lived in Norfolk or went to Old Dominion or lived near there. And that was like my favorite job. And the only reason I lost that job is because I can't lie. I suck at lying. So I don't even try. I just tell the truth when people go. And the night before I got fired, I was closing, and the next day I was closing too. So, but one of the guys I worked with, this flaming alphabet person, um, he was there. He was also an assistant manager, and he was telling me that the general manager of the area manager, whatever, some dude that was just a dick because he just didn't understand how shit worked. He just knew what he read in a book. But he wanted me to close by myself. He wanted me to send everybody home at 8 and the store didn't close till 11. And I was like, that's not happening. I'm not cleaning the entire restaurant. Well, the store closed at 10, but usually I wasn't out till 11 because even with like two other employees to help me clean everything and so I could do, the books for the day and do all the deposits and do all of the paperwork and all of the computer work, so I could do that. That usually took me an hour after we closed. Cleaning usually only took 20 minutes, so the employees were out of there pretty quickly, especially if I had enough. But they were like, we're not making enough money from that store to have that many people working at the same time. And I'm sorry, I'm not working by myself and being the only person in a restaurant that seats over 100 people, and not only serving everybody but then having to clean the bathroom because you had to check the bathroom every 15 minutes because they had secret shoppers. You had to sweep the floor in the lobby every 15 minutes, and that meant that was even if you were hella busy, somebody had to be out there sweeping and cleaning the tables and stuff. So you had to have people for, and that's the reason, like, they were like, that's the reason I got fired, is because they were super about secret shopper could come in at any time. They come in for both shifts and at least once a week, and if you get a good rating on your secret shopper, you get $100 bonus if you work the shift. And that's another reason I was like, no, I can't do all of those things by myself for 2 hours. And I remember I was talking to my crew for that night, And I was like, I don't care what they say. Two of you are staying with me until close. One of you can go home early. You figure out who it is. And then the other assistant manager that I was relieving sits there and goes, "But so what are you saying?" And I was like, I want to make sure shit gets clean for a secret shopper in case a secret shopper comes by because they could come by towards closing. So I want to make sure that I've got at least help to clean everything and do everything for a secret shopper. And the fruit sitting next to me is like, "Oh, so you don't really take this whole job seriously, do you?" And I was like, "To be honest with you, if I had to just do it myself, I would say fuck the secret shopper. I don't give a fuck what rating I get from them if I'm here by myself. Just the fact that I close the store and I'm safe when I do it is all I care about." That motherfucker called the fucking area manager and told them I said, "I don't give a fuck about secret shoppers. I'ma do what I want to do." Didn't explain the entire conversation, anything like that. So I closed that night. The next night, my boss, the store manager, because I was just an assistant manager, she goes, "Ryan," and she was my friend. She's like, "Sit down." And we were having a cigarette. And she goes, "Please tell me that you didn't say this." And I was like, "Well," and she was like, "What do you mean, well?" And I told her the exact same story, and I told her this is exactly what I said. And she was like, "God, you're fired." And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because you admitted to saying that." And I was like, "But I didn't say it that way. It was taken out of context." And she was like, "We just have what he said you said, and then you agreed that you said it." And that's how I lost my favorite job. Like, I could have gone somewhere in Five Guys. Like, I was starting to get to know people and I was getting good at what I was doing. And I could, like, I met the owners twice. Like, but I lost my job because of that conversation with some jealous fruit basket. Life isn't always great. But then after that, I got some great jobs with the help of a oh, employment agencies. They'll pay you shit, but they'll put you into a place where, like, hey, if we hire on permanently, we're hiring you. And it's usually about 3 months. Like, if you get into a good place, and when they hire you permanently, you usually get like a $3 raise and benefits. And like, if you work warehouse, I don't know if they do temp agencies for fast food, but yeah, a good way to get a permanent job and actually start making good money is through temp agencies. And then friends and yeah, my last job, yeah, it was through a temp agency. That was a good job. I worked in a spice mill. I got fucking buff because you're lifting a lot. That's also where I got injured, and now I'm no longer buff. Fucking miss that spice mill. Everybody I worked with, like, seriously, it's like work. It was like working with a bunch of ex-cons. And I say that because most of them were ex-cons. It was fun as fuck. You just make fun of people. Like, nobody ratted on anybody for anything. You gotta go take a shit for 30 minutes. People just turn around and go, "Where the fuck this motherfucker? He's making $3 more an hour than me. Where you been for 30 minutes?" You don't tell the boss, you just make fun of him amongst yourselves. And then when he gets back, you make fun of him. Like, it was fun as fuck. And I fucking got hurt. And I was doing well too. I was getting promoted and raises. I got fucking like 3 raises in a year time working for that company. and I got promoted from work working to sanitize the product on this huge machine to running my own grinder. That's like I was at apprentice. I was at apprentice level at that point. I was on my way to becoming a novice, and as working a grinder at a in a spice mill. I was on my way to becoming a novice. I was maybe like 2 months out after I took the test, and then I could start working on my master. And that's when I got injured, and that sucked because yeah, I would have loved to say I was at least a novice, not an apprentice. I got injured as an apprentice, but it was fun. Especially like there was one there was one weekend like got off of work Friday and we were gone all weekend, and we started at 4 a.m. because we got off to two, no, six to two, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, so 6 to 2:30. I just leave the house at 4 a.m. because I rode a bike to get to work, and I lived a couple miles away. But get there at 6 a.m. every morning, and this one weekend at 4 a.m. I get there at 6 a.m. and everybody's standing outside, and there's a fire truck outside, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like the fucking production room caught on fire, and we're like, what? What the fuck? Ain't no way the production room caught on fire. You're fucking kidding me. Was anybody here during the weekend? Like, no, nobody was here during the weekend. And finally, they clear it, and that machine that caught on fire, it had to be shut down until it could be repaired and cleaned. Uh, you know, because even though